we were the ones providing them with the tool to help them out getting the work done more easily.
Yeah.
With our suppliers to more easily communicate and have valid claims, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then towards our customers, same there, increase of quality and overall communication, because we're using it on the inbound as well as on the outbound. So we collect very easily pictures on the outbound and can basically do the same as what we do on inbound with the reports.
Great. So it sounds like your relationships with your suppliers have increased quite a bit. I mean, improved quite a bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think a lot in the end, business is always going to be about people.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so there's always going to be some hiccups along the way, some discrepancies to clear out. And I think they're having a tool to rely on that kind of shows that there's a system in place.
Yeah.
It increases well, not only the perception, but also the reality of the quality that you do in your work, right?
Oh, okay.
So I think to that aspect, it helps for people to trust us as a partner to see that we're using tools like yours rather than the pictures in email, for example.
Correct. Somebody pulling out a picture from a smartphone and sharing it with that, and they don't know whether it was manipulated or things like that, versus, hey, this is a system there where we are uploading photos and you can log in and see for yourself. Just that transparency and the credibility improves that relationship with the supplier. Nice, very nice.
Correct.
Okay, great. So how is life before LoadProof, and how is life now after LoadProof? Is it better, and in what ways it is better?
Yeah. So I my life before was short-lived with Vesper, right? Because I just got on board.
Okay.
But I could definitely see the so before Vesper, I've always been in larger operations. You need tools in place, you need structures in place, and if you don't have that, I mean, today might be a good day because everybody kind of does what they are supposed to do, and it's flowing and everything works well. But then tomorrow might be a bad day. Somebody skips a step, forgets something. And so I think that consistency in processes and the quality of work is very important to run smooth operations and be able to focus on our end. The buying side and the selling side. And so I think if you look before, there's more chaos, less structure in place. And if there's a situation to having to go back, pull pictures and all, there's significant amount of work that goes into it to kind of go back and fix things in the past. Whereas with LoadProof, the daily doing of the task is become easier, is faster.
Less labor you guys are spending on just managing these photos and the data.
Absolutely. And then if ever there's a load to be pulled up, it's just so much easier to be able to go with a load number. In our case, we do a whole lot of exports, so we might have a month and a half to 2 months between the loading and the actual receipt by the end customer.
Oh, okay.
And so if the end customer then comes up with a question, all he does in his email referring to a specific order number, you can go straight into LoadProof, type the number that has been used on the loading end to log the load, and you got all the pictures right there, right?
So this is all sounds like this is all going, from the US to Europe or somewhere in ocean shipments. So that's why it's taking that long. Very interesting.
Yeah, correct. So we're basically we're buying, so we have incoming and outgoing material within the US. But then a good portion of our business is also shipping material overseas to Asia or Asia, Africa, and then a little bit of Europe. And so on the outbound side of things, there's indeed a delay that even if there's not even a claim that comes up, but whenever a customer gets our product, it's going to be a month to 2 months down the road.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting.
So
Very
being
interesting.
able to pull it up in LoadProof and basically in seconds pull up a load, I can get a phone call, and the moment somebody's talking about, hey, we received this or that load,
Yep.
by the time our customer is at the point where he or she wants to mention what it is about,
Yep.
I can already have the pictures pulled up and have a quick idea of what load we're talking about.
Oh,
and
okay,
all of that.
okay. You can be proactively prepared, and hey, this is what it is when it left our end, or when we received it in a warehouse, or when we shipped it
Yes.
from our warehouse.
Yes, correct.
Perfect,
Correct.
perfect, nice. Okay, so the next question is, how difficult was it to implement? Right, from one is from a technical perspective, right, turning on a system, that is one thing, and also from a people perspective, getting people to, right, humans, we are the worst entity for change, right? We don't want to change. We get used to our own way of living lives and doing things and things like that, right? So how easy was it to get the users to embrace the system, and did they ask questions? Did you guys had to work through change management and all that? If you could please talk, from a technical system rollout perspective as well as from a people adoption perspective.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I briefly touched on that in the beginning,
Yeah.
without knowing your question was coming up.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah,
The setup was I'd say on one end it was looking at, well, initially there's just the setting it up for pictures and using it for pictures, which is, I'd say, plug and play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got the basic fields of the load, and I can't remember, maybe pallet or packaging type, got a couple of standard fields.
Correct.
And so the initial testing and getting going, it's basically downloading the app.
Yep.
At that time, getting the test user, and I was out there using it. Right?
Yep.
From there, I probably combined maximum a couple of hours
Yep.
of figuring out what process we wanted, adding in myself the fields in LoadProof.
Yep.
That we wanted, with the selection menu, the drop down menu.
Yep.
So I'd say there, for somebody with a basic knowledge of, say, an application like Excel.
Yeah.
If you can do the basic things in Excel,
you can figure this out.
you can set up LoadProof and actually make it look. It's funny because I was out at the warehouse making changes as we went.
Yeah.
And so the people I was working with, they were in one of our first encounters, as I had recently joined the team, they were kind of like, "Oh wow, all this knowledge you have." I said, "Don't worry about it. Look, it's easy application. I just have to select this, do this or that. I'm not programming or anything."
Yeah.
So the setup was very easy to even make it custom to our needs, and try to get the most out of it, of how we would use it.
Correct.
And then the rollout with the team.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it was a one-pager, step 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But even there, you open up the application. Nowadays, everybody kind of knows their way around with a smartphone.
Exactly.
So it's really step by step. It's very, I'd say, intuitive.
Yep.
To go from one step through the next.
Yep.
The picture taking is very much like one taking pictures, of course, on their phone. So
Yep.
I'd say all in all, I probably really took 50 minutes, 30 minutes to explain, to stay with the guys in the team, in the warehouse.
Yep.
And that was it. I think ever since, there might have been rare occasions where I think the maybe 2 or 3 follow-ups with the warehouse team that I've had was for the admin person to know how to upload a picture.
Yeah.
Once the load had been uploaded.
Yep.
To change some information on the data fields.
Yeah.
And that was about it. But even then, it was 2, 3 screen captures in an email.
Yeah.
There you go, and then it worked, right?
They're using it. They're pretty fluent. From that point
Yeah,
onwards.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Great. So just very, very high level, right? Approximately, right? How much are the dollar savings that you guys have had? I mean, it sounds like more from your perspective. It sounds more like it's, I think, 2 things. One is obviously labor, right? Having a clean process, clean system that's doing, enabling people to do all these steps. So that's one, labor. The second one is that difference in the classification with, in terms of what you guys see versus your suppliers see, right? That's what it sounds like. those are the key contributors for these dollar savings. Just very, very high level, approximately how much is the dollar savings?
I think on the labor, as we're working with a fairly small team.
Okay.
Which, like in the warehouse, I think there's probably going to be 2-3 people out in the warehouse that use the same app.
Got it.
One in the office. So, and I think on that end, we're not maximizing, or we don't have the scale to really run into the tens of thousands a month.
Got it.
So in our case, it's probably going to be a couple of hundreds, but of course it's also against a smaller scale of overall cost.
Okay.
So we're definitely a couple of hundreds there. I think on our end, on the biggest win is more of the opportunity cost, so to speak, of the being able to stay away from claims, and if there's claims, to solve them quickly. If I put a number on that one, at one particular supplier that I have in mind, we're probably talking about between $100,000 and $150,000 a month of material purchases.
Yeah.
So there's going to be
some claims.
If you think about claims,
yeah,
it's a couple of thousands a month.
Okay.
That like I said, they're more of an opportunity cost. If all goes well, then there's no money
claim
to be gained, right?
Yeah.
The gain is we have no issues. In case of claims, then it's about less friction and being able to save a couple of thousand.
Got it. No, that makes sense. I mean, I think when you guys have a great working relationship with your suppliers, that makes life so much better, right? You're not sitting there and constantly, fighting over this or fighting over that. You're able to focus on, hey, how can I help you build my business? How can, I can help you build your business, and how you can partner with me, help, build my business, and how we can, work together and increase the volume and, win more win-wins for both of us, rather than sitting there and fighting over, claims, right? That makes a big difference. Awesome.
Yeah.
So would you recommend, right, someone in your role, would you recommend that person LoadProof?
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually, early on, I reached out to 2 people in the previous company that had been involved with trying something out in the past. Where I basically kind of then reached out and told them, look, I'm rolling it out with the new company. So far, it's doing everything that we thought it would be doing. So if you ever need some support in getting it, kind of trying to go for another round to get it going in the other company, let me know.
Great.
That never came from it, but no, absolutely. Like it a lot.
Awesome. I mean, thank you for taking the time, Jonas. I mean, this means a lot. This helps us a lot, So is there anything that you would like us to improve, or any feedback that you have, hey, maybe you can tweak this, or you can add this capability, enhance this, and things like that we can do for you to make, LoadProof even better for you guys, or any other use cases that we can support for you?
I think in our situation, we really have everything that we need. I think there's been maybe 2 times where I had to reach out for some, say, technical support on the user matter or anything. That was done basically within a day or so. So the technical support was definitely there as well. In our situation, we especially if I compare to previous operations I was involved with, we're a small scale operation.
Correct.
Fairly basic material flow.
Correct.
So we're really getting everything that we need with the basics.
With the tool, yeah.
But I can definitely see if you're running a little bit more complex operations. That LoadProof can be a great tool to build upon and to try to get more checks of whatever you're doing next to the system to get it into the system.
Okay, perfect. I mean, thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time. This helps us a lot, and that's all I have. Thank you for the time, Jonas.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
See ya. Bye bye.
Bye.